Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. You're back with the Midwest Express. Today we are talking about return to store orders. I just received my first official return to store order this morning, and I wanted to go over the highlights and the lowlights of the event. So it was a 6.4 mile delivery. That mileage that pops up is from where you pick it up to the store. You do not get paid for the distance you go to the pickup. And that's something to be aware of. So I was at the store that it was going to be dropped off at. So that 6.4 miles, that was actually a 12.8 mile trip for $10. So something to be aware of really quick there. When I picked up there, when I got the order, it was an as soon as possible order. So I'm like, okay, we're probably going to be late. Might affect my OTA, but right now I'm 100% OTA, so I didn't really even care. I went to pick it up, got to the customer's address, and went up, rang the doorbell, and there was no response. And I was like, oh boy. So I'm thinking, okay, so I probably should have texted ahead of time. So when you go into the app, when you get to the customer, it's going to show up with just this part that says deliver by. And it gives you the deadline to deliver it by back to the store, right? You have this hidden option in the bottom. You have to swipe up with that hidden option, and then that gives you the options of what to do when you're at the customer. So once you swipe up, because it's going to just give you the store, and it's going to say start scanning label, which is confusing because I was like, I'm at the customer. I'm not at the store. Why would I start scanning now? I'm confused. So it kind of confused me a little bit. I already knocked and rang the doorbell with no answer. So I'm like, okay, let me go back and text them. So I go into the app, I swipe up, and I go to contact customer. And when I contact customer, it pops up with this. And it gives you 3 automated messages. The first one says, I've been delayed, but we'll be there as soon as possible to pick up your return order. Now, knowing this now, because I didn't know that was an option, I should have, because it was an ASAP order to help my on-time arrival, I should have probably sent that right away. Because those messages supposedly help you being late. So it just notifies the customer, hey, I'm running late, right? The second option is, I've arrived to pick up your Walmart return order. Please come to the door so I can scan your label. So when you get to the customer, don't go up and ring the doorbell, don't go knock. Send this text first. Right when you get there, send that text to say, hey, I'm here. That way, the app knows that you're already talking with the customer, and the clock's already started. You already said, hey, I'm here, come to the door. Then you can go ring the doorbell and knock on the door. And also there's another note, a preset auto message that says, I will be arriving in a few minutes to pick up your order. Please have your order label ready for me to scan. So that's another thing that you need to do when you get these return to store orders. First thing you should do is when you take this order, if it's an ASAP order, say I'm running late, and then send them the next one that says, I'll be arriving in a few minutes. Please have your label and everything ready. And then you can do the third one when you get there. So I do like the app in the fact that they gave us these options right away to kind of say, hey, so we're not having to think at all. Now, Walmart, you have these in a set order. You should have them in a better order that kind of put the I've arrived, the last one, not the one in the middle. But I'm sure that'll get worked out in the details as time goes on. Or you can message the customer, or you can call the customer if you so desire. So those options are there. There is also a tab for I can't pick it up. So if you click the can't pick up tab, it pops up with this option. Why can't the order be picked up? One option is the customer canceled. The second option is customer has confirmed they aren't home. Well, so you called them and they said, I'm not home, I can't do it. you can't reach the customer, or the customer doesn't have the return ready, or the address is not found. So you get those 4 options. And I guess if you can't, if it's, or 5 options, if there's something outside those, you got to call customer service. But I think that kind of covers all the bases there. So you select what it is and boom. Now, whether you get paid out or how the payout works, if they aren't home and you end up not picking up the customer's ad stuff, I don't know. There's also a pickup notes which says you'll need to collect the return order from the customer. If they don't answer the door, try to call and text them. Please scan the return label from the customer. So when the customer, I was getting ready to call customer service because it was my first one. I didn't know all the tabs right away, so I was like, I really didn't even need to call customer service. I could have just waited a few more minutes and then just said, can't get a hold of customer, and beat feet. But the customer did come out of their house. He had it ready. It was a sweater. It was still wrapped into plastic. He didn't even open it. So when I collected it from him, he had his phone. I scanned his phone, grabbed the package, came to the store. Now, when I got to the Walmart store, I pulled in and it was a little bit hinky because it skipped the stall. Like, what stall are you in? So I logged into my other phone, and my other phone allowed me to put the stall in. So I don't know if I have an outdated app. I got to double check my phones this morning. But there was something kind of fishy with the check-in when I got to the store. But once I did get checked in, an associate came out right away. He came out, and he had a big cart with him because he didn't know how much stuff he was picking up. And I got out of my van with a sweatshirt. He's like, oh, it's just a small thing. I'm like, yeah. I was like, this is my first one. He's like, this is my first one too. He hasn't done any yet. So he was with his scanner and he's getting ready to scan it. And then he was like, oh, I have to go get a label printer. And I'm like, what? He goes, I'll be right back. So he went back into the store. He came out with his scanner and a label printer. So when he scanned my label on my phone, he was able to print out a label. Then that label just went on the merchandise, and then they throw it on the shelf and it gets sent back to wherever they need it to go back to. So it seemed like this was not a store purchased item that was being returned. It was an online item. So I don't know if they're going to start with online stuff that gets returned, like stuff that you get through the mail, or if it's both. I haven't done one that's returned to the store that it was purchased at yet. So just wanted to go over that stuff with you guys. It's new cutting edge changes to us. I ended up driving almost 13 miles for $10. Plus, I just finished this video, but I want to say from start to end, from when I got the order to done, it took me about 35 minutes to do that 15 mile or 13 miles of driving. So I missed the round robin. That was my hip hoorah for that hour. So now I have time to make a video, finally. But I hope you guys are having a great day, great week. The weekend is upon us. I wanted to also check something while I'm here. I wanted to see what kind of trips these count as toward the metrics, and it did. So I had to do so many trips this week. So these return orders, they do count as a trip toward your metrics. So if you need to do a lot of trips and this is an in-between and you're close by, then it's beneficial. I think that if you're at the Walmart store when you take these, if it's more than a couple miles, depending on the time. This came in at, I want to say, 8:57 in the morning. So it didn't get released during the round robin. It just popped up and as soon as possible when it was available. So I don't know if these are all going to be as soon as possible orders or not. So, but that's the end, guys. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Make sure you're liking. Make sure you're subscribing, because this is where you're going to get the real deal news every day when it comes to gig work and gig apps. So like, subscribe, and we're out.